Hello, welcome back to the channel, and today we're looking at the Sirui 24mm Anamorphic Lens. Now, if like me, you were a little bit concerned because you'd bought and invested in a full set of ND filters and other filters, so I purchased a whole set of Gobe, however you pronounce it.
I've made a huge mistake.
At 67mm, because you assumed all the anamorphic lenses, like the 50 and 35, would probably stick to 67, then you might be disappointed to hear that the 24 actually comes with a 72mm thread. And so I thought I'm gonna have to sell these on eBay or whatever, or keep them and then buy a whole new set of ND filters. So I thought I'd actually try something out and see if I could just use a step down ring, just step down to 67, so I could just keep using these filters and see if I get any vignetting. And I was actually quite surprised how many filters I could put onto here before I would even see it in the frame. And that was, I would only get a bit of vignetting at the edges when I was using stabilization, because the sensor moves within the camera. That caused a slight bit of vignetting, as you can see in this footage. And also, I can squeeze on a diopter or close-up filter, which is also 67mm. So I had the step-down ring, 3 different NDs, hence why the footage is so grainy, because I had to really push the ISO up, plus the close-up filter or diopter, and then a step-up ring to a 72mm black pro mist, which I sensibly bought in 72 rather than 67. And so with all those on, you only just get a bit of vignetting whilst using stabilization. Now, who in their right mind would have this many filters on at once? So I would say that if you only have 67mm ND filters and diopters and things like that, and pro mists, then you probably don't need to worry too much. So I would say definitely grab a step down ring. They're about $2 or $3/pounds, and try it out, because that's not a lot of money to invest in order to save having to buy a whole new load of filters. So definitely give that a go. And on the other issue, the other thing that might bother you about the Sirui 24mm F2.8 is the fact that it's a 2.8 at its widest aperture, and the Sirui 50 is a 1.8. So having a 2.8 is a bit of a disappointment, but I haven't actually been able to get a straight answer from Sirui. But a lot of people are assuming that it's just a limitation because of how difficult it is to manufacture wider lenses, hence why it's much bigger than the others. So with the 2.8, you're not going to get as much bokeh, but with a wide angle lens, you would get less bokeh anyway. So I would say for those shots, definitely have one of the 35 or 50s as well, if you want to get some shots with some nice bokeh. When you're doing close-ups on people's faces, you'd be using one of these lenses more often than not anyway, unless you were trying to warp their face by using a wider lens, depending on your choices. But there is a little hack, I call it a hack, it's not really a hack. Using this diopter or close-up filter, what that actually does is brings the depth of field closer to you. So you can no longer focus to infinity when you've got one of these on, but you can bring your lens closer to the subject. So they come in different strengths. This is a +2, you can get +1, +4, +10, what have you. And it allows you to get closer to your subject, as well as creating more bokeh in the background. So these are very, very cheap ones I've got here. So you might get better results if you get more expensive ones. Again, I'll put a link to these off Amazon so you can have a look for yourself. So if you look at the footage, you can clearly see that I'm no longer able to focus on the subject ahead of me from the distance I was, but I can get bigger bokeh. Now, the more glass that you shoot through, the more of an effect it's going to have on your final image. But when you're dealing with anamorphics, you shouldn't really be worried about getting the perfect image. Hence why, you know, people get really old vintage lenses because of the way they look. And don't become too obsessed with trying to get the best, cleanest image you can, unless that's what the end product calls for. So if you're making a film and it's a gritty film or something like that, then you might be really, really happy with this kind of stuff. And if you really are obsessed with bokeh, then get some diopters. Another thing you might be looking at is focus gears, focus gear rings that attach to the lenses, because they don't come with them anymore. The 35 does, but the other lenses don't. I bought this thin one for about $10. It's not the best, I'll be honest. There are places where you can get better ones, but they cost $20 to $30. I think the tilter ones, being only $2 or $3, are probably worth a look. I'll put a link below so you can see them. And the size that you need for this one, I think it's somewhere between 61 and 64, something like that. But if you're really serious about your filmmaking and you want a really good gearing, then there's a guy on eBay who makes really, really good ones. They're 3D printed, and also they extend further than the widest point of the lens. Sometimes having a gearing which doesn't protrude further than the widest point of the lens means that your follow focus is going to hit the widest part before it gets to the gearing, which sometimes means you have to like slip this down and then twist things around to try and get it to work, which is just not ideal. But if you have a follow focus ring that protrudes further out, then wherever you're going to put it, you're going to be fine and it's not going to interact with it. So my recommendation is to look at this guy on eBay. I'll put a link below. I'm pretty sure he ships worldwide. It's like a one-man operation, so he's probably going to sell out quite quick. He'll be launching his 24, and they should be released before the end of the Indiegogo campaign for this 24. So if you want to have a look at the Indiegogo campaign, I'll put a link to that too. That's not an affiliate link, it's just a link so you can see it yourself and decide if you want to order it. And thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you on the next one.